Okay, recap for Monday, the 24th of November 2025. So, it's a Monday with no news, as you can see. Did I even check? I'm pretty sure it's a Monday, no news. Yeah. Monday, no news. Tomorrow we have PPI. And Wednesday we have red folder, I guess. Bank holiday on Thursday. Friday, no news. And I'm pretty sure it's holiday as well. So, like, basically, can't trade Thursday, can't trade Friday, and there's only Wednesday and Tuesday to trade. But there's this Monday as well with no news. So I kind of made an exception just because, like, and not on the main accounts, right? I can't use the XFAs for today because, again, still Monday with no news. So I was like, you know what? If I can find something that I can frame risk on for evaluation accounts, I'll go for it. It's not really breaking my rules, it's not really bending the rules or whatever, right? It's just the fact that um them accounts are on a time limit, so I might as well just frame something, right? If I can find something, as long as I follow the rules, right? So that's what I do. Anyway, okay. So through the weekend, right? What did I just hear? Through the weekend, right? Okay, it's gone like all the way down, right? Friday we took like a big objective. ES as well took the low, right? YM didn't, so it made an SMT, right? And I don't know, I'm still not convinced that we're done with the lows. However, for now, I'm just gonna go with what the market is telling me, and if it wants to go higher, it can go higher, and I'll follow, right? I'm not trying to pick lows, I'm not trying to pick bottoms, trying to pick lows or highs, right? I don't care. I'm here to just make money, bruv, you know? Alright, so just blindly token. Let's just go to the daily. If I'm bearish, okay, there is the mean threshold of this order block that I do not want price to entertain, right? And if I'm bullish, I would want to see us go above this high. The only problem, this high is a wick, so we have a rejection block. So I just need to gonna grade the wick if we get close to it. So, but at least I'm gonna have the rejection block. Boom, that's just narrative on the daily. Simple as that. Okay? Because it's a Monday. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do because we could be bullish or bearish. It depends if price does this, then that, and then that. Don't care, right? I just need to see something that makes sense. 4 hour, we have a big SIBI, right? Can't really frame anything properly here, so I'm just gonna have the midpoint, right? 1 hour. Again, same thing, right? And then watching what ICT was doing today as well. He had framed this balance price range. Normally I don't put them on the chart, but I do gauge them with like I'll look at them with my eyes and just try to see what the area is, right? Because normally price should struggle to go above balance price ranges. So we have balance price range. Also on top of that, from the balance price range right here is our rejection block on the daily. So like this is all like making it just a struggle, right? So I don't really expect price on a Monday with no news to go for the highs, even if that's the draw on the liquidity, right? I don't. I just expect it to go higher and then see what it does. So that's my initial bias. I'm bullish or bearish, right? I don't care, right? For the moment, I just need more information. That's what I'm saying. Now, 15 minutes. There's not much that I can work with, right? Main thing is, okay, this high to this low is discount, and we have relative equal highs, okay, and we have a gap. If we want to drop right lower, if we wanted to go lower, fill, because look, this is our new weekly opening gap, right? This is weekly open, midnight open as well as here, and we go down and we come all the way near closing it right there, but we don't fully close it, which is a bullish signature. But sometimes it could just it was bullish until here and then now we're going to go down, or it could indicate something like this, right? So it's a lot of ifs, buts, maybes, blah blah blahs, right? So this is what I'm looking at initially what are we gonna do within this gap, right? I don't want to annotate it, but um I had it in like mind. So let's annotate it here because we're gonna go down into like the lower time frame. Right, so everything that I explained was there, right? All these lines, this is the discount I was talking about. This is the midpoint of the 4 hour gap. These are daily wicks, right? Upper quadrant, lower quadrant, right? Stuff that can stop price. And red is the mean threshold on that daily. Anything beyond that, we're bullish. Like we are bullish. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not we're bullish to go, like we're not going up to go down. It's like no, we going up and we going up type of bullish scenario, right? So just framing wise, right? It's a Monday. Monday doesn't follow the rules. Well, my specific rules for how I would like to trade, right? So Monday is a bit of a tricky one, right? And that's why I don't trade it, right? It's like me trying to go into a low probability day. It doesn't matter if it's low probability for a lot of trading styles, but it's genuinely low probability for exactly my trading style, right? Like very low probability. So that's why I avoid it regardless, right? So I aim and seek for the liquidity, right? Initially, I need to know what's left, what's there, blah blah blah, right? And in terms of liquidity, this is these are all Asia lows, I'm pretty sure, right? And this is London low, which gets taken by like gets London lunch or whatever's just straight after London, right? So it gets swept. So that's very potential, like high potential of it being low the day, okay? And that then I'm then looking at then the next liquidity, which would like to be for the 7 or the initial one, and that is so low, very near London. So I'm in my head, even if we're bullish, I would not expect us to sweep that. However, we took London Asia high, previous high. So like, what's left really is sell side, right? So I have them marked, but in my head I'm like, yeah, it don't make sense, right? And unless we like start stalling all the way till like maybe 11:30, then we take our own AM liquidity somewhere up here and then start going higher, right? Or we don't care, right? See, you see, that's what I'm saying. We don't care. The don't care part, that's a specific to a Monday, right? It's a specific to a Monday. Why? Because Monday has the tendency to just open and just go into one direction and trade. Like it's very common for a Monday to do that, just not care, right? Regardless of where the liquidity is seeking something, right? And that seeking something is, it don't know, it doesn't necessarily has to be liquidity, because again, look our target, we didn't reach like a previous high or something like that, right? And while we're going up, like we haven't done it with, that's what makes Monday a bit of a weird day, because it can be as literally as brain dead as just getting it and it's just going up, right? So understanding all of the possibilities of what Monday could do, first thing is we need to rule out if we're ever going to go to these lows, because if we're going to go to these lows, we would have to stop right there and not mess around, like preferably way lower, right? But that's like the last, you know, thing to stop. Why? Because then we have an opening range gap which aligns with against these liquidities, right? But like I said, Monday has the tendency of just opening and just going, just being brain dead, especially when we fill the new weekly opening gap earlier, right? Something like London. So if we're gonna expand, right, and let's say like I'm trying to even catch this as an expansion, right? So I'm gonna be looking for discount from even that high, and that doesn't even get offered, right? So like it's just not gonna give you that optimal, lovely, nice trade. Let's go get to it, right? So that's why I'm saying Monday's a struggle. And so now we understand the whole narrative. It could do this, or it could do that, it could do that. Best thing is waiting until it's like brain dead obvious, right? So First thing first is our first presented fair value gap. It tells us you can use it basically as support as resistance. You can make it as brain as that, right? So this is the first presented, right? So we can see that first price goes open and goes. By the time it's 10, we don't even touch the lower quadrant, which means this day could be a trending day. Very likely that it doesn't even attempt to go that much lower. Okay, so we're adding that. It goes straight to the upper quadrant. It's not even entertaining going lower. It's not even entertaining doing discount. It's not even entertaining going to sell side liquidity. That is important. It is basically telling me it's got somewhere to be. It's making its own consolidation here, and it's taking its own liquidity in a closed range. Okay, so now we know that. We know how it reacted, right? And the fact that the range wasn't that far, and here is 10, right? So I'm going to use the opening range now to gauge what price is doing. And once we leave the opening range right here, I want to see price go up, stay above the midpoint of the opening range. And if we're going to expand, I'm trying to see, of course, the 2 and the 2.5. We'll get to that later. However, I still have the short in mind because here, right? So I'm not trying to do anything here, but the fact that we lay the body above the mean threshold, the mean threshold is questionable, but this is fine. But once we went down, we didn't really go down. You get what I'm saying? Like, we didn't displace. Look at all these candles. It's like we're making an order block, right? We are making an order block, but that's what I'm saying. We're not displacing. I don't see no fair value gaps. Nothing is crazy, right? It's just a kind of a high resistance liquidity run. We fill in all these imbalances, right? I'm guessing we went all the way, filled all the imbalances, go to this wick, midpoint of the wick, then go higher, right? That's not bearish. That's pretty bullish. Also, one thing ICT mentioned I learned today is the consolidation here. If we're still bullish, we do not want it to close below the midpoint of this consolidation. Okay, so last line of defense, I guess, would be the swing low, probably this order block low or something, right? For any bullish price action. So again, not breaking anything bullish and then going up, right? Fair value gap where? Here. But again, this still is still not something you'd buy. It's still not brain dead obvious, right? Okay, now we're making this low, another low, relative equal lows. I'm just seeing the wicks. I'm waiting. Bearish fair value gap. Do we use it? What happens? We go down to the rejection block right there. As you can see, I don't need to draw it. And then what's the reaction after that? We create a fair value gap. Here's when it gets obvious, right? Because here we're entering at 10:30 basically, right? At this point, we need to do something. We can't consolidate all day. What have we been proving? Bullish, bullish, inversing this, bullish, right? So if I'm very confident, and I wasn't very confident on the longs here, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted more. But if my bias was very bullish, that's what I would buy. This fair value gap, stop loss. I mean, for now, it gets below this low. Wouldn't expect it to get anywhere near that. And as you can see with the wick itself and it closed, that tells you the narrative, right? Again, within these wicks, there is this order block, but like it's not something I would use, right? And it goes all the way up. Here is what I wanted a fair value gap. I want this candle, when it was printing, to lay a displacement fair value gap. That would have been the most obvious, easiest entry of my lifetime, right? It doesn't. It was so close, right? Like this candle was here, this candle was stolen. I was like, there, nope, because I want this fair value gap to be on this mitigation block. because then I can guarantee my stop loss would not even be close, and then it would not do this. It would actually go all the way up first, then return and stall. However, whenever my stop loss could be at break even and it will not be touched. And I know what type of day this is, right? So before we explain the day, let's just explain what I wanted to see, right? So this would be like, okay, I could use it, but it's still slightly risky. It's like definitely got rid of this, but like I'm not fully 100% convicted with the longs, and remember it's on Monday and blah blah blah, right? So like I'm not trying to push my luck. If it's not 100%, I don't want it, right? Having a fair value gap right here to me was basically 100% no-brainer trade, right? After all of what I outlined, okay, after all that logic. So then I'm like, shit, basically, right? It don't do it. I'm watching what it does with this wick. I'm watching what it does with this wick, right? Mainly this one. So I'm guessing like, if I remember, it should have not went to midpoint, right? It was staying in the upper quadrant, wasn't even entertaining the midpoint, then goes, right? Within it creating an order block that has a wick. I wanted the opening price. I really wanted this candle to do the opening price. I don't get it because it goes to the midpoint. Once I see it goes to the midpoint, I'm like shit again. I'm like, bruh, you're not trying to let me in, right? And then once it's trading down into the midpoint of this, that's what I buy, right? And you can say, okay, this is a bit high, but I'm not trying to get anything. I'm just trying to be on the move, right? And once it goes up and I see it slow down, right? The second I hit the rejection block, I kill the trade, right? Because I know it's going back down now. And that's it. That was enough. That was, this little portion was 500, right? I mean, that's not the size of trades that like, ooh, wow, crazy, but I got paid for the day, right? I got paid for my time. Waste of time, but I got paid. And I was not even planning to get anything. So why would I endure more risk? I know, and trust me, I know it's going up here. Trust me, I know. But I also know how this day acts. This is how it moves, right? It doesn't go up in like when it consolidates, takes liquidity. It's going up, right? Like if you're looking at like 15, 30, 1 hour, right, time frame, it's going up. But like this is how it's going up. You see what I'm saying? And knowing that, and this is how I'm training myself for entries. I'm trying to enter at the most perfect entries. Oh, I don't want it. I genuinely do not want it. Okay. So this is what would I consider my most perfect. This is an entry I would take if I had conviction, like fully 100%. If I had conviction, this is the entry that I would take, knowing once we take this high and break even straight away, right? And I can sleep, and no price should not go anywhere near my entry at all, especially once we take this high, right? Then I'm just worrying about taking profits and stop losses at break even. An entry at this order block, right, or an entry here, it's not chasing price, but I know it will go up from here. But then I have to be cautious of every next PDA rate and what are we doing, okay? I have to like really be dialed in. I'm watching everything on the 15 second, the 1 minute. I need bullish signs and like pushing up. This candle right here, right? Once we fail to go to this order block, or do we? Yeah, which should have been bullish, and then zoom up like this. This candle should have not happened, right? That's why when it gave me the rejection block, I got out, right? Because this is exactly what's gonna happen after. And what was that? That's me hitting break even. Oh, even, I mean, my stop loss was originally here, but it's kind of stupid having my stop loss not go break even once we do this, right? Once we show bullish order flow, right? And you might say, oh, if I had my stop loss here, which I know it should not go to it, right? Look at all this run. I don't care. I don't care. There is a risk, and to be fair, it's a very small risk that it would go to the stop loss. I don't. Why would I put myself at any risk, That's what I understood, right? Why would I put myself at any risk? Which now is training me, right? Because now once I enter a trade, I'm basically break even in like 2 to 3 minutes, right? Because I aim to wait for the most perfect entry. Once I get the perfect entry, I know there's no reason for me to open the stop loss, right? It either hits my stop loss or it hits my TP. Because I notice most time it hits my stop loss, I was wrong on the trade. So knowing that this is technically, but considering myself is technically chasing price for me, which is not, trust me, this is not chasing price. Entering here, knowing that it will go at least down here, trust me, it's not chasing price, right? Because it only confirmed to me. I guess first confirmations are here, but like the real confirmation was here. And I know the condition of it is do a deep retracements and consolidation. I know it can come to me. That is not chasing price in terms of like genuinely chasing price. But for me, the way that I like to trade is 2 3 minutes. My risk is already out the market. Okay, I'm either wrong instantly, which is very rare, or then if it comes to break even, then I need to wait. And normally is waiting 15 minutes, right? This once it hits the I know I'm not even going to be offered the entry soon, because as you can see, it's not entries that you'll be finding easily, right? Like what would you say here? It doesn't go to the rejection block, right? It's probably using something here on the wick to go for that low. But I know for a fact there'll be something on the 15 second, right? So once it goes down here, it's inverse this gap, but as you see, it's not holding it. Then does this consolidation, clear gap here, 15 second, you buy it up, right? I don't care. But trust me, my point is I'm content. That 500 from this little small one, I'm content, right? This is just, it's enough for a Monday that is improbable. Even though I know this, I know what's, and you know what I could do, and what I used to do on days like this, I would wait for it to go down somewhere, and I'll just buy with like small contracts and just let it ride the whole day. But I noticed even doing that, I'd start like watching the chart, even knowing that it's gonna reach the objective at the end of the day. I know exactly how this day works, right? It's gonna reach the objective basically near the end of the day, and I noticed that I would waste hours just like checking, right? Like I don't know, I got this bad habit of like if I'm in a trade, it's in my mind and I'm always checking. I can't set and forget yet. But once I make a model, right? And I'm knowing these days, it's not like they're going away. I'm gonna be able to get a model where I'm gonna enter so low, and then I'm gonna genuinely set and forget because like how low I entered, right? But it's a work in progress, right? I already know the day. I just don't have an entry that is defined for it yet, right? And honestly, probably their entries for these days are London Mondays. I'm gonna have to actually check London for these days, right? Because then I would get an entry so low that I genuinely do not care. Okay. One more thing that I didn't mention: ES does not have an SMT. Well, it does. It actually ES genuinely goes and take lows that are just relative equal lows. Nothing special about them, just relative equal lows. However, YM actually takes a session low, which goes straight to these London lows, right? So that's one thing with these days. You wouldn't know if NQ is not gonna take the lows. You don't know if you know what I'm saying. It's just one of them ones where it's low probability. However, if I was very convinced, right, or if I had a model or whatever, the obvious entries, of course, here, and let me show you how would I qualify the trade. First thing, once we go above here, right, we lay the candle again above the mean threshold. This just kills basically the bearish bias, right? We cooked so many PD arrays. All these lines are PD arrays that should stop price and go lower, but we've been cooking them. And why would I say this? Because then here at the 5 minute time frame or something, right, maybe I'm allowing this because we're not closing above, But then look at this one, 1030 closed above. That's it, done deal. And that retracement, right, by the way, when I seen it, why would I confident that it was gonna go down? Because we made an a busy, right, once we go up, and I wanted it to stay open. Basically, this is what I wanted. Do you see how this busy stayed open? It's exactly what I wanted. I want price to be that much faster. Just leave my area. Okay. Anyway, targets. How do I know the targets for this day? Kind of brain dead easy. It depends on what price is done. So if it's a Judah, if it's an opening range, if it's a blah blah blah, right? So this one is clearly we do not have a Judah. However, price went up and stalled till 10, right? Once it does this, we know we could use the opening range, right? Opening range to 2.5, right? These are your targets. What are the targets in? Remember, this is the what do you call it? The hourly what do you call it? What do you call it? Hourly balance price range, right? And watch how price kind of struggles going up. Notice how I say it takes right, it takes a great deal for it to like go through, right? Look, these are 200 handles basically, right? And this took essentially, that's around 10:30, essentially 4 or 5 hours to complete. Okay, unlike a trade, I don't know. Okay, Thursday is a bit extreme, but again, it's like something like when I entered on a Thursday, right? It's around here. Let's say 200 handles. How long did that take? Around 15 minutes. You see what I'm saying? I can't be asked. Like, if it's not worth it, if it's not just gonna go, bro. I don't care, because for some reason it weighs on your mental. For me personally, right? I check. I keep checking. Absolute fiend. I should stop checking, but I'm not at that point yet, and I feel like with time I'm getting less and less worried and more confident. But I know this is not an exact model of mine. I just know how it acts. So that's why I'm not confident in just letting it, ride, even though I know how it works, right? Anyway, like I said, 2.52, right? And you're just trying to find what price is gonna do, right? So like if we at near 4, right, which is here, and we're not reaching the 2.5, well, of course we're gonna know where it's gonna reach, right? In the midpoint, which is the 225, right? Watch the bodies, right? Just look at them. Wicks above it, doesn't close. That's the target, right? It's self-explanatory day, right? It's just brain dead expanding day. It will keep taking its liquidity and will keep consolidating, but it will go up, right? And now that is basically setting up the week, right? This digging through this balance price range, which would be a struggle for price to go essentially up through, was done on this Monday, right? So now we can clean up the chart, right? And then we got rid of this, and essentially price could use this and still keep going higher, right? But yeah, that's essentially what price has done. There's not much to the day. I know I spoke a lot, but I was just speaking about all the conditions that it could do, right? Um, right, and then one thing, as you can see, it also stops at the rejection block, basically, which is the higher that right there. So then again, this just leaves us to go to this week, right? So this we're gonna have next. Let's get rid of these as well for now, and we'll have the wick, right? So if we have any bearishness, or this is like some weird fake rally, which I don't believe so anymore, because the fact that we worked through this rejection block, the only thing that would really stop us, honestly, under 1 hour, and that's the only thing that I'm gonna really be watching, is this breaker block, right? And essentially, okay, let's just get rid of this. Essentially, it's this area, right? Well, it's not really an area, but this breaker block and just the bottom of it, right? And I don't care about the whole series. This is the breaker block that I'm worrying about, right? Why? Because it's between these two quadrants, right? So if anything, and I don't think this would be enough to push us all the way down unless it's big SMTs or whatever, but essentially if we go up here we could have some sort of retracement through the day to like go lower to then go higher again, right? It doesn't have to be like, oh, we're gonna take it and then go all the way. For example, we could go up there tomorrow and then retrace to the midpoint of like Monday's range, right? So the midpoint of that range, which would be somewhere around here. So let's just check it real quick where that would be. You can see that lines up basically with what the start of the day is, and if we just check on that hourly, that just starts this fair value gap basically on the hourly, right? The 4 hour. However, but looking at it like this, we're really kind of making a balanced price range of some sort, so we should not really be going down, you see. So again, there's a lot of price should, price shouldn't, price should, price shouldn't. So it's essentially we're just gonna have to see how we're gonna react to this area. But for sure, once we close above this midpoint, right, then honestly, get rid of those, then we would have completed a purge and revert, right? Which is easier to see on. Okay, so here we came back to this inversion fair value gap, so let's get rid of that. Now we know what it is, and on top of that, these were the quadrants for the inversion fair value gap. However, I'm also looking at the wick, right? And then we use the higher that wick to the tick, right? Which is very bullish because I'd expect like the upper quadrant, but like the high, that is very bullish. However, what's easier to see is on ES, right? Is once we take the low, we open, take the low, and close bullish, right? Going up higher here, we're aiming for this high. Once this high is taken, we kind of basically done purge and revert. And essentially, if we take that high and start going down, we most likely will have this next day create a fair value gap for Wednesday to go down in if it wants to go down on Wednesday. So Tuesday here will be this, right? Takes this high, maybe takes both these highs if it's going up, right? And then that will create the purge and revert, which then will start essentially the buy side of the curve potentially, right? So then we'll have a low risk buy into this fair value gap. Then once we go up here, then we could have again in this inversion fair value gap the first stage accumulation, or it could be before that, but then we could go above here or around here, then we could have the second stage around this or this what do you call it, opening range, not opening range, yeah, it was an opening range gap, but it was a new weekly opening gap, whatever volume imbalance on the weekly, whatever this area, whatever you want to call it, this gap, right? Which we could have then the unicorn and then finish this market maker buy model. And this one could be aggressive. This could be really fast, right? Boom, boom, boom. Just basically take this staircase, take the second staircase, and then we're gone, right? And that will be just the market maker buy model. This is the sell side of the curve. This will be the buy side of the curve. And this all depends on taking this high tomorrow, leaving a fair value gap to use. That's the market recap or the weekly recap projection, whatever you want to call it, for NQ, right? For 24/11 Monday. But yeah, I think I said more than enough. There is no, yeah, it's more than enough for what price should and shouldn't do. Um, I'm just glad that I'm at this area of understanding where I don't care. It's so relieving that I do not care, right? I got accounts, I got whatever, and I do not care to trade, right? And if for example today I hit break even, like let's say I was pushing it and I hit break even, I know for a fact I was not gonna touch the button again because I don't care. There's no point when it's low probability. There's no point. You know how much of an advantage that is. Like just literally me previous months or some shit. Like when that happens, when I hit break even, or let's say I get this, I guess relatively smaller win, right, or whatever, 500 or something, then I'm trying to do more, right? I'm trying to like get my target or whatever, right? Even though I know the high probability thing, I missed it or it's not there for the day. I keep trying to do more, and that's exactly how I lose my shit, right? Because I'm trying to be right when everything is stacked against me. It's stupid. And the relief today that I got from first thing first, I genuinely opened Monday. Before I even looked at trading the evaluations, I went and locked out my XFAs. Just without even thinking. Then I went on the eval, and because the eval I would be trading it as like I'm trading paper. I don't care. Oh, first thing that I see that could make sense, I would buy, I would sell. I weighed through all the bullshit, and I only went in when it made basically 200% sense. And then when it stopped making sense so quickly, I killed the trade instantly without caring, and then locked the account because I don't care. That is exactly what I was looking for or asking for, or like basic. This is exactly what I want, because I kept saying for months, I understand how to trade. I can make models on models on models on models, right? Essentially price action, how it moves, what it does, blah blah blah. I get it, right? I get it. Even though I don't really get it, but I'm very advanced in it, right? Like I can get something out of it. What was cooking me is just this innate pressure to like get it done today, to like try reach whatever objective now, right? Honestly, since I've been basically, guess not caring, delayed gratification, whatever you want to call it, that it will happen when it should happen type of mentality, and just wait, because today's not the end of the world, right? If I miss my trade, if I don't trade today, or if I lose, or if I would hit break even today, it's not the end of the world, because seriously, it's not the end of the world. And I would be saying that to myself before, like, oh, it's not the end of the world. But you would see me like 5 minutes later in a trade again. Why? I might say it, but mentally, that means I'm not believing it, right? Once now clearly that I'm believing it's not the end of the world. I don't have to make money today. I don't have to get whatever out of situation today, right? As long as I'm following the process. And clearly I am, right? And this is of course to me, to my future self, right? As mile markers of the progress. Like clearly that here on I'm putting like literally every possible trading day on YouTube, my thoughts, how I went through basically a full journal, right? Because I noticed that I can't journal this, and then you'll notice my videos are getting 30, 40, 50 minutes long because I'm just yapping about all the thoughts, right? Because I need to like release them so I can even think about what I'm saying, see my progress. I want to see this later, right? Because I'll show eventually what worked, what didn't work, my emotional state, mental state, everything that will get me to the point that I will be at in the future. And I genuinely believe this like level of, I guess, clarity first, and also like disassociating from the result and the need of the result being at the current moment or current day or current week, or but I could not care if I arrive at this in years, right? And like I'm content with what I'm doing now, and you know, as long as I keep working, I'm already seeing the results of what happens if I wait, right? I think the main thing is like that realization if if you wait for your most perfect setup, like genuinely most perfect day, everything's aligning, and you risk the good amount that you would genuinely lose over stupid 5, 10 random trades because you just want to get in the market. But if you save that whole risk for that, and boom, you can make tons. And if you lose, you don't even care, right? It doesn't even feel bad when you lose because you followed everything, right? Everything you said you would like follow, right? Your rules and everything. And what sadly, I mean, what's like the funny thing really about it? Till this day, I do not have a trade where I followed all my rules, right? Like I knew like basically all my rules is there's rules to how to analyze the day. There's rules to pick the specific time to trade. There's rules for the entry. There's rules for the. Once I tick all them rules, I'm telling you, I have not lost a single trade when I followed all the rules. Never, never, right? And I'm saying never after I found exactly what I'm meant to do, right? I've never lost a single trade where I followed exactly all my rules. That tells you something, right? That tells you like, yo, chill out. So why would I always be impulsive? Boom, boom. I'm trying to get in, right? It was just trying to because them trades of me following all them rules. Some days there's 2 days where I can't. There's nothing for me, right? And that messed me up because I kept making new models and new things and new whatever. Right, and as you can see for today, right? Like this day, I do not have a model for. Right, it's one of them ones where I know what it's gonna do, and I tried making a model for, but I didn't spend time for. But like at least I know the terminus for the day. I know if I can get on it or whatever, right? But again, let's not sidetrack. Is I started making models on models on models on models so I can find models for each specific day. And I can't lie, that's been helpful and garbage at the same time, right? I found a lot of stuff, but then sometimes would get mixed signals, whatever. Then I found a way to universally gauge price action in what it should do then. And then second is find a model for the entry, right? Which then helped, and then it started contradicting. And then essentially I made it so much harder for myself, right? To get to where I'm at. However, I kept going and I kept going, I kept improving, I kept tinkering, I kept removing this, I kept adding that, blah blah blah. To a point where I can see it clearly, right? I know what it should do, and I have these models where I can just plug and play once I can identify in my head what it should do, right? That doesn't mean I'm crazy on the entries yet. Like my last thing right now to like basically, I guess, conquer in like the understanding of price action or thingy is my executions, right? They're good, right? They're not bad, but I want them good, right? Where essentially is the last thing is stop loss management, right? I want the stop loss to be so tight that I know for exactly, like, trust me, I'm entering at the best possible entries most of the time, right? So I know I could put my stop loss at break even, but I want, if I was wrong, to just go like, you know what I'm saying? But then again, like I said, once all the rules are followed, I'm rarely wrong, right? So back to the main topic. Regardless if I lose, and of course I will lose later. This is like I will do something wrong, right? Like my if I lose, then I basically did something wrong, right? And let's say I didn't do something wrong, it was like manual intervention, right? When I lose, I'm not even gonna be phased about it as long as I follow all the rules. And essentially, since I implemented not looking at the P&L, I generally don't look at the P&L right now, as in like counting the day as a win or a loss. I would count, did I follow my rules? And that, once I followed the rules, it'll be a W, right? And once I change that, and now that I'm following the rules, or a W, I notice that I despise entering before everything is aligned. Like, really despise it, right? To enter before everything's aligned, because then I know then I'm just breaking some sort of rule, right? And it's like kind of, it'll just make it kind of disgusting, right? To just break the rules, knowing like every time, like, because you're writing it out, you're like, I did this, right? And you write loss. And you know, it's most of the days that are just written out that you broke your rules. The P&L follows that, right? Some days it'll be, oh, okay, you might revenge trade it 5-6 times and then maybe got it back, but it'll be an anomaly, right? You can't make that anomaly the stick, right? And then you'll see that every time I'm losing, I'm also losing P&L wise because I'm breaking the rules, right? And every time I followed the rules to the tick, there's two results. I made no money, right? Because it's either break even or I have not touched the chart because I haven't found trade, or I made a banger, right? It's not like I'd make a bit, I'd make like genuine banger trades, right? Because I made sure that I aligned everything, right? And the risk was managed properly, right? Adding rules to also not opening risk. One of my main problems, I'm like, I get stubborn, right? And if I want price to go to that one direction, I can go blind. But I would go blind basically. Everything that would go and say price is going down, for example. I'd basically be blind and be like, yep, it's going down. Every gap, every wick, anything that's supporting price to go down, I'm there and then making an excuse for it. To a point where I could make an excuse way above my entry and be like, you know what, even if I'm wrong on this part, surely when it goes up there, look at all these other PD arrays that could push price down. And then every time when price starts zooming back to my break even, I would open. That stop loss, right? And then it would hit it. And then it would start retracing for the longs. And me thinking like, oh, nah. Like, I just had it a bit too tight. And then I would enter again. And then boom, that's my second loss. And then I might try, and then I would keep forcing. I would even switch the bias. Like, I would just get it in my head, like, okay, shorts, and like clearly the market switched to like longs or something. And I'll just keep trying to short. And then I'm getting to get near my whatever set as my maximum drawdown, and then I will increase it, and then I might increase it more, and then but boom, account gone, blown. See what I'm saying? It's a little spiral. It stems from that little thing, which is moving my stop loss higher because I really want to be right and I really want the trade to work out. And it's just a butterfly effect from I could just end the day making $0 or $50 or whatever basically the break even, to losing the account. And I've noticed that I've done that so many times. Which brings us back to the point of today's trade, why I'm happy about it, like genuinely really happy about it, is because I already know that I don't have the most perfect trade and is likely to hit break even before hitting targets, right? Right there. It's likely to hit break even before hitting targets. But I'm gonna give myself the chance to get on it because it still makes sense. And then I didn't get blinded by, oh, look at this order block. Oh, look at this teeny tiny gap that it wants to go to. Oh, what about the rejection? But no, no, no. I looked at the first warning sign and I got out. Right? That's one. Second, even if I didn't get out, like my stop loss would never move below break even. The second that we went above this candle high, it went break even because I know what kind of entry I'm going in. Right? So that's two. Third, once I got, I guess, taken out, even though I took myself out, and I know it's still going up, I never even attempted to get back on the move. That I don't care what, like, I don't know, like what anyone thinks, right? That is just generationally. I don't even know how to explain like the maturity of it, right? This is that good, right? In terms of like, especially for trading, that is better than, if you can achieve that, that's better than whatever, I don't know, ICT model that you're learning, bro. Because bro, you can trade anything, bro. You could trade whatever thing that you're convicted with. You can trade it. It doesn't have to be precise, but as long as you can reach and improve daily your mental, your psychology, your risk management, like everything in terms of that. Because trust me, bro, trading is more about psychology than actually just technical analysis or whatever way that you enter the chart with, right? So I'm glad that I'm working on that, and I'm glad that I'm fixing that, and I'm glad that I'm doing that without even thinking again. And trust me, but like the amount of times that I struggled with just the feelings of just, I know what it is, right? Yeah, for example, like I know when I entered here, a bit below, I know, right? Is it more than 500? I don't know. I think I averaged it. I know this is the target. Where is it? Rejection block, right? I know. Trust me. Like I pulled the target here. This is not 500, is it? Right? It's not 500. And I know my stop loss was here. Okay? Initially, once I entered. Why? Even though I know it's going up there, but I also know there's a real potential that it's gonna go below my entry. Why would I stay in the trade? When it's improbable. Like even I know the day, but it's improbable. It's not. Why? And knowing that, why would I not just take it at the rejection block? Right? That's all I'm saying. That's the market recap. And honestly, light years of advancement in psychology, in whatever I'm doing in terms of trading. Right? And again, whatever the market does, will be there tomorrow. I'm not gonna trade Thursday or Friday again. Basically on what I was saying the whole time. There's no need, right? Slow probability. There's no need. Relax. It's not the end of the world. Okay. So I got 2 days to trade. Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever happens, happens. Let's hope I bang some banger trades. And if I do, lovely. If I don't, it is what it is. Not the end of the world. We go again on the following weeks of December. Right? That's the market recap. Yap recap as well. Peace out.